So, Jeremy Loops,
Yo,
getting amped for Up the Creek, right? Which is
I am getting amped for Up the Creek for sure.
Yeah. Not only do you love the festival, but you're also in the lineup. And going forward, you're also a buy-in partner for the festival along with BreakOut events. That's very exciting.
It is very exciting.
What does that look like for you? And what is it about Up the Creek that made you want to be a part of it?
Well, yeah, it's the first festival I've ever bought into, I suppose. So I've put on my own festivals, and we've got quite a few shows that I've over the years developed as like JL shows, so we're performing in spaces that we know and we curate them and stuff, but that's just for my personal shows, and we'll put the lineup together, and it's just a way of having a bit more control over the making sure you've got a nice sound system and stage and all the things you want to just avoid the risk that performances have built into them. So I'm no stranger to running my own shows, but this festival is the first time I've actually kind of put my money where my mouth is and dived into something at this level. And the reason is just quite simply because it's a festival that I always thought was a beautiful example of what was possible in this country. Like, it's such an amazing location on the Breda River. But other than the location, it's always been like a strictly local lineup, which I love. So many of our festivals are scrambling and fighting to see who can book a better international band. And, then they have to book international acts. Otherwise, they're worried they're not going to sell tickets. And Up the Creek always basically just was the local lineup act. And I've got such a strong bond to this idea of uplifting South African music. I've spent my whole career trying to do that and then trying to take South African music abroad. And I just think that we've got so much talent here that goes missed because our music scene doesn't really support artists. We haven't got enough venues. We haven't got enough festivals that survive. And the festivals that do survive and thrive end up trying to become kind of international festivals where they book internationals and spend all their budget there and then underpay local artists to afford the internationals. So I'm getting into the detail of it here, but you asked why.
No, I love it. A lot of the people who originally started were like 40 or so when they started partying at the baby version of Up the Creek, and now I'm sure the crowd is quite varied. What do you think of the Gen Z party goers?
What do I think of the Gen Z party goers?
Yeah.
Used to be a Gen Z, not a Gen Z. What would I have been? Probably a millennial.
In your 20s.
Yeah, it's interesting. We felt it one year at Up the Creek where we had this. It must have just been a big group of attendees that almost didn't get what Up the Creek was about. And after that, we started using a few of our taglines like "Don't be cuck, be lacquer," "Everyone's a VIP," just to try and like get rid of that undercurrent that was coming through. And it's definitely worked because we find ourselves now with a complete mixed range. I mean, we're selling tickets obviously to 18 and 19-year-olds, not a lot, but tickets. And our average consumer is still sitting between the 30 to 40 mark. But we've got lots of people over the age of 40, over the age of 60 coming. And everyone seems to get along really nicely at Up the Creek. I think it's just the right environment for them to put down their guards, and just everyone, we don't really have any issues. And
it's so interesting that you have to tell the kind of customer base who they need to be at this place, that you kind of, it's a very interesting angle.
Well, I think it was like we could just tell that the way they were behaving or being was not how we wanted everyone. We wanted everyone to just be nice, kind of thing.
Yeah. You need to build that ethos, that culture, for sure.
Yeah. And especially if you've got people who are attending other festivals where it's much bigger and you're really getting lost in the number game. When you come here, like, to us, every single person who attends is really important. I get all the general inquiry emails, and I take the time every day to reply to each and every person. But because every person is important, and that's our whole thing of everyone's a VIP. We don't have any closed off backstage areas. We don't have an area just for the artists. You can walk straight through artist camping if you want to. The whole idea is everyone's meant to be together for this weekend at the river.
It's a boutique fair. We're also not looking to grow it. So they've always been small, and the venue doesn't allow it to grow a huge amount more. And even if it did, I think our goal would be to try and keep it at the sweet spot amount of people so that everyone just has a really, boutique experience. And then
that intimate vibe it is special. I mean, you as the no VIP vibe as well, you can just sort of hang around with your fans and like relate on that level. I mean,
100%.
That's what it's about, that nitty gritty, like getting in it. So I love that.
Yeah, and all the artists as well, like a lot of the festivals I play nowadays will strictly stay in our backstage area, just so you're not hassled by people too much. And there's, that's just kind of often the way it is. Whereas at Up the Creek, it's always been that festival where artists want to be out there because of the river stages and the lilos. And so you'll see all the artists in their bathing suits, like in the water with everyone. And that's also quite unique, where it just doesn't feel like there's too much of a boundary and everyone's there to just have a good time and no one's hassling each other. It's just like, I think there's a lot of special qualities this festival has. So yeah, I'm very excited to be on board and hope that it leads to many more years of this being a festival.
Yeah, amazing. I'm sure. I'm looking forward to going to all of them, honestly. Up the Creek also punts expect the unexpected. What do you think we can expect at this upcoming festival? And can I even ask what might be unexpected?
I think that tagline comes from, historically, Up the Creek was, we used to really encourage collaborations between artists. So, and to a point where we almost used to, I can't say force them, but we used to start pinning artists together and start saying, okay, well, why don't you do something with this one? And really like putting a lot of effort into that. So you're not just seeing your stock standard band that you can see at Cafe Rue, for instance. It won't be that same band on the stage. There'll be another artist coming in to join them and then leaving, and then someone else coming in to join them. So it was really all about everyone's coming together. Most artists stay more than one night. It's very rare that they just come in, perform, and leave. So most of them stay for a night or two at least. And then we encourage them to join in with other acts because this is an opportunity that they might not otherwise have. So that was, I think, where the expect the unexpected came from. And then what ended up slowly happening is that Up the Creek always had side shows, basically. Like you would see somebody playing a piano right by the river out of the blue, or a ballerina would just pop up on top of a combi and do something. So it was like these little sideshow moments, these little skits that we became known for. And I think that that sort of just carried through every year. And we there's a certain amount of effort we put into them, but there's also a certain amount of, we can't control them entirely. We need to let them happen organically, kind of thing. So I think that's the expect the unexpected. And if we told you what it was, it would not be unexpected.
Yeah, fair enough. You've got to go see what it is. Sure. Last question. What is your message for all the Up the Creekers?
My message for Up the Creek is just lock in and have a good time. Be safe in the water. We don't want any drowning hazards or any bad incidences. So we've got lots of like, it's going to be so fun down by the water. I'm just an absolute like water rat. So I am looking forward to that more than anything, just being in the water, lying in the water, hanging out in the sun.
You have a fancy tube or lilo or floaty or whatever.
I'll definitely have my floaty there, yes.
How are we going to spot you? What does it look like?
Oh, I can't tell you that. No, I will be trying to be a little bit undercover. I'm not going to be like absolutely flaring. I think I'm going to get, it's going to be difficult to, yeah, walk around very easily there without getting stopped a lot. So I'm preparing for that, preparing a couple of maybe disguises so that I can just like really be out there. But I think it won't help. I'm going to spend a lot of my time interacting with people, I'm sure, and being on the water. So I would just say, if you haven't got your lilo sorted, get your lilo sorted, and just prepare for all round good times, 100%.